This is not a reboot. This was never a reboot. I don't know why we always have this idea of seeing something new from an old thing and just thinking, reboot. We begin with narration that tells us about the story. How 30 years ago, 6 teenagers with attitude used their superpowers to fight against an evil space sorcerer to defend their world. Soon, in the present, we meet Billy, one of those teenagers with attitude. Billy is now a man with attitude. He's all alone against a robotic version of his team's nemesis, Rita Repulsa, and her squadron of minions known as Putties. Using his morpher, Billy transformed into a superhero persona, the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger, based on the Triceratops. He defends himself well enough until the rest of the team arrives and the Rangers fight them together. Billy manages to damage Rita's robot head, but Rita creates a powerful spell capable of destroying him completely. Trini Kwan, the Yellow Ranger, sees the attack coming and throws herself in the line of fire, getting killed in the process. The villain takes advantage of the hero's grief over the loss of their friend and teleports away, planning her true revenge for another date. Later at Trini's house, Billy argues with Zach, the Black Ranger, over how to tell Min, Trini's teenage daughter, the bad news. Zach argues that Min is just a kid and shouldn't know the full details, saying that they both should lie about what happened. But Billy argues that she deserves to know the full truth, that Rita Repulsa killed her mom. And lo and behold, Min just so happened to walk in the room right at that sentence. Probably a bad time to mention that she's failing out of school. As Min runs away, filled with sadness, Billy says that they need to tell her the full truth about them being Rangers. We then cut to 1 year later. Min is full on training, waiting for the Rangers to find any sign of Robo Rita. Zach has become a new guardian in the meantime. The two of them then head out to Trini's grave as it is now the anniversary of her mom's death. Before they get there, they hear the sounds of the other Rangers morphing in the distance. Robo Rita has reappeared, having created robotic versions of her old generals, Snizzard and Minotaur. Min wants to fight Rita, but Zach holds her back while he transforms and joins the fray. Snizzard grabs the red, the pink, and the green Rangers with the serpents on his hands, turning them into action figures. They're taken captive by Rita as she claims to the remaining 2 Rangers that she plans on draining their energy for her machine. Billy and Zach alone are no match for the villains, running out of their energy and transforming back to normal as a result. The 2 Rangers and Min retreat in Billy's car and try to drive away, but the monsters corner them. Billy then presses a button on his car's dashboard and flies away, and they all fly away in the car. And yes, we knew he could do that. It's a thing from the original series. At Min's house, Min wants to help fight Rita, but Billy and Zach tell her that's too dangerous for her and just to leave it to the Rangers instead. However, she doesn't trust them to do it, especially Billy, because for some reason, he's the reason for this whole mess. At Cranston Tech, the company that Billy runs, down in the top secret basement of the building, Alpha 9, his robotic assistant, says they are unable to locate any signs of the other Rangers. Billy laments over the Min's words from before. We go back to flashback land for an explanation to that last year. Billy and Alpha 8 picked up some dimensional energy and they decided to recombine them together, hoping that the energy was their long-lost mentor, Zordon. However, it turns out that the bad idea was really a bad idea. The newly formed gas escapes the tube and takes over Alpha 8's body, transforming itself into Robo Rita. The villain explains that years ago, Zordon sacrificed himself, releasing a giant wave of energy. When he did that, the villain's evil dispersed into basic particles until just now, when Billy brought them back together into one being. Rita attacks Billy as the Ranger contacts his fellow teammates running outside. And that was what led into the beginning scene. Back in the present, Billy has Alpha 9 activate the Pandora protocol, warning other Ranger teams across the universe of Robo Rita's return. Not only that, but they summon previous holders of the team's Ranger powers so that they can transform and fight too. First off is Cat, who used the Pink Ranger's powers before, and then Rocky, the guy who just wants to have fun, to use the Red Ranger's powers. There's still no one to use the Yellow Ranger powers though. Soon, Robo Rita attacks all over the world with her putty patrols. The 4 Rangers present morph into action and teleport into battle. But as they fight, Alpha discovers that the monster generals have the power to track any Power Ranger if they're morphed. The robot quickly advises that everyone demorph and retreat while they figure out a plan. Back at the command center, the Rangers get a call from 2 other people, Adam and Aisha. They're in space. There used to be Rangers too, but that's not important for this special. What is important is that they gave Billy an idea on how they can get to the moon undetected to rescue their friends. Before he can fully implement that, they notice that on one of the feeds for the city, Min is currently fighting the putty patrols on her own at a juice bar. She tries using her mother's morpher so that she can transform and fight, but doesn't seem to be listening to her. She holds her own until they eventually all gain up on her. However, Rocky and Zack arrive to even the odds. And yes, this is hip-hop Guido, something everyone should know. Back at the command center, Zack berates Min for disobeying them and tells her advice from his old mentor about how seeking revenge is not worth it. Meanwhile, the other Rangers trap Minotaur and Snizard with the power of science.
Yes, science!
With the monsters out of the way, Billy gives everyone one-time use portable cloaking devices. After the 4 Rangers teleport to the moon, completely invisible, Min grabs one of the devices and immediately uses it to go to the building's parking lot. You got too much attitude there, Min, but not enough sense. So Min steals Billy's flying car from earlier and figures out how to make it fly after saving the standard gay couple on the side of the road from a putty attack. Why were they there? Is there a reason why? Who knows? Maybe just the LGBTQIA+ community just happens to naturally roam the countryside. So anyway, Min goes to the construction site where the monster generals are trapped and tries to intimidate them. Min tries using the morpher again, but still doesn't work, making her look like an idiot. And wouldn't you know it, shouting very loudly brings someone to her, Robo-Rita. The teenager tries using Mantis-style Kung Fu, her mom's fighting style, against the villain, but she's no match for her. On the moon, the Rangers manage to get inside of Rita's base, past her guards, and find the machine from before. Along with their friends, they also see more captured Rangers connected to Rita's device. Billy figures out that the machine is actually a time machine, showing a spot in time from 30 years ago. The robot, along with her monsters, appear, having captured Min as well. Robo-Rita monologues that her plan is to travel back 30 years in the past to tell her younger self all the fun things that happened between then and now so that she can change the timeline and evil can reign again. All the Rangers quickly attack, catching the villains off guard as Min frees herself. However, since they're not morphed and they're just middle-aged adults with attitude, they don't do too well. During the commotion, Rita prepares a spell on her staff, the same one that killed Trini, and fires it again at Billy. History repeats itself as Min jumps in the line of fire, taking the blast of the spell. Min seemingly is dead. Everyone starts mourning her until she starts to receive the little eye of the tiger. Memories of her mom and her time as a ranger wash over her mind. Her mom's morpher glows in the pocket, meaning that it's time. It's morphin' time! While the 5 Rangers fight against Minotaur, Rita uses her wand and performs a spell on Snizard, making him go giant size. Since Rita's back is to them, Billy stabs her in the chest with his weapon, taking her offline. The Blue Ranger then takes Min and has Alpha teleport the Zords to the moon so that they can fight the giant lizard. Zords are basically a Ranger's personal robot that they can combine into an even bigger robot, because that's what Power Rangers are, baby. Forming the Megazord, Billy and Min fight Snizard in totally reasonable, please don't judge them CGI fashion. In the moon base, Rocky dammit, destroys Minotaur with his sword. The 3 Rangers join Billy and Min in the Megazord's cockpit, and the team finishes the last monster together. However, Robo-Rita isn't dead yet. She crawls toward the machine, activating it as the portal to the past appears. Before she can step through it, the Rangers teleport back into the base, rescuing the rest of the Rangers with 20 points of articulation before Kat destroys the machine with her arrow, and Zack executes Rita via axe cannon. And thus, the day is saved. Later on, Adam and Aisha arrive, planning on taking the captured Rangers to another planet where they can return them to normal. Rocky and Kat also plan on taking off, Kat returning to her son while Rocky just wants to eat his ramen in peace. That just leaves Billy, Zack, and Min to talk at the juice bar. Min finally tells Billy that she forgives him for his actions that led to her mom's death. She then tells him about her experience morphing for the first time, telling him about seeing Trini's memories. That leads him to realize that the morphing grid, the source of all the Rangers' powers, may be the key to potentially save his old mentor Zordon. And speaking of memories, as both Billy and Zack tell Min about some of the fun and ridiculous memories they had as being Power Rangers with her mom, a tribute is played, honoring the 2 actors who had passed away before the special was aired. And after that touching montage, that's when the rocking theme song plays. That's right, it gets you all hyped up for the next thing to happen, the credits. Dun dun dun! Thank you all so much for watching. I really enjoyed doing this the whole recap thing. I usually do this a lot, but just writing it down. But I think it's cooler to just talk about it. I would love to do more of these, especially for single episodes, because those have more potential for to make fun titles and all that. I hope you guys enjoyed. and I'll see you maybe next time. We'll see. This might be the last video in the docket, and I'm just judging to see whether or not people really like this. I'll catch you all later. Have a good day.